and welcome back. I have returned with the ongoing shopping adventures of the party, having recently returned to Port Nyanzaru. Now, if none of that makes sense, you probably have to go back and watch the earlier part of this episode, or maybe even go back further. So, anything you want to do here while, we're doing some shopping?
Yep.
We set up a night at the wherever that spot is you stayed before. Iku and Azaka went to go take care of those things and ask for the supplies to be sent to that place so that they could be collated together.
Yep. And I'm gonna buy out the smoke sticks of probably somebody. I'm gonna lay down 400 gold and get 20. I don't have any negotiation skills, so I'm not even gonna bother.
Not that kind of road.
Not that kind of road. And some dust. Will I be able to find some dust of sneezing and choking?
I think if we were going to try to make some purchases here, and looking towards magic items, I think that I'm okay with anything you can afford.
All right. Then I'm getting some.
That means you could potentially get a very rare, but that would be kind of unlikely. That's usually at 11th level and higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Some
would be tough, but yeah.
Yeah, some dust of sneezing and choking and some caltrops. You can't go wrong with the classic.
Caltrops, marbles. Don't forget the marbles.
Ball bearing.
I already have ball bearings.
there
I already have this.
I tried to trap those tunnels when I was playing Katashi. Spread the marbles, caltrops. So yes, if you can afford it, then you can probably find it here.
All right. Gonna pick up a broom of flying.
I looked up site without looking at D&D first, and I got some really weird stuff.
Hey, do any of us have any of the boom, there's a house abilities? Like tiny hut, any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the risks with a hag is her getting us while we sleep.
So a lot of shopping, for basic stuff is just off the shelf. But considering that we have a handful of magic to both buy and sell, maybe trade and whatnot, it's probably appropriate to give us about a week here, right? Or like 5 days or something for that activities.
Right, or we come back and pick it up in 5 days. Right.
Or you go pick up the rest of the party tomorrow, or the other travelers, or some of them, all that stuff. All right, so I will use the Xanathar's magic item price, asking price.
Okay. The other thing I'm going to do while folks are shopping and checking out the market is go back to Zatembe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Traveling back to Zatembe.
The temple, I believe it's a moon temple. right? Sejun.
I have about 8 books that I'm currently. So just so you know.
If an item is rare, are you still fine with us getting it?
Yeah.
Looking at wand of enemy detection, right?
Ooh.
Hmm.
Cool. And of course, you know, those equivalents or whatever, you know, are also on the table. Right? Like a wand with a second
Grand wand of enemy detection.
like a wand of second level spells, like if it's, you know, you could get a different second level spell.
Ah, okay.
I mean, that's about its value. These are just examples of things in that range.
I see. Is anybody else buying anything?
Oh, a few things for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking.
So I'm gonna use the Roll20 chat there, and I'm just gonna make a little list of costs by range, and Zatembe will come is the Temple of Savras.
Okay.
When that's where her grandfather is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Oh.
Zatembe is up in there.
Alright.
You have Annette, right? Annette is the one who wanted to go to the foot of the basin.
She's on her way to Camp Vengeance.
Right. It's part of the travel, right?
Yeah.
She's trying to get to this far.
Yeah.
Along for the ride.
Right? Didn't she say like the big thing she was trying to get to was the alligator on the man statue? Right? She said that was some big part of her thing.
Just a second. I have to make some notes.
Okay.
I want to follow up with that, but I gotta give an answer here. So
I gotta look and see what I'm attuned to as well. What's the limit? 3?
typically
3. Not everything requires attunement, though. Like magic weapons and armor usually don't. Oh, so do you prefer David or Dave?
David, please.
David, did you see in the chat I put there's 3 spells I can cast that qualify for what you were describing. So if you want to read about them, it's Lehman's Tiny Hut, Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum, and then Galder's Tower.
Okay. I think
The lower level one, Lehman's Tiny Hut, I could do like 5 or 6 times easily, whereas the higher level ones, not so much, obviously.
Well, I mean, Lehman's Hut is a ritual.
Right.
So you can do it all day.
Exactly. I don't remember if the other ones are rituals or not. I don't think they were, but they might be. That'd be cool.
Yeah, rituals only go up to like 4th level or so. There's not much above that. It might, though. So is it Tembe? Or are we there yet? Okay.
sorry that it's taking me. A question was asked which required multiple rolls. because it was a relevant question, the current shopping costs for those magic items as determined by Xanathars. Okay, so going to the Temple of Savris to catch up with Zentembe. Now,
Indeed.
before you go off and start this little session, I want to just make sure here. We have options here. Go ahead and do whatever shopping that you need for common items. If you want to do some magic, if you can afford it, right? I would lay the prices out. If you have any questions, I'll get right back to you after the scene. Okay, so Wayne traveling to the Temple of Savris. Okay, I think that is over. Over in 7 here. Okay. Gotcha. Not far from the prince's house, where you left Sandra last.
Right.
Right? It's in the same neighborhood.
First thing I will put in 100 gold worth of diamonds, just like small diamonds.
Okay. So into the Temple of Savris. Coming to the temple. I think I have a little piece here in the scraps. Where is that? Indeed. So over the entrance of the temple, right? You see the large, the monstrous eye, one of the many symbols of Savris, the deity of wizards and fortune tellers and diviners and such. So, coming in, you make a tithing offer.
Yep. Just splash splash it loudly into the donation plate.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it catches attention, and it is noted. And after a few minutes, there's a priest who comes down and sits next to you and asks if is there something you wish to speak of? Maybe.
Oh, certainly. I'm here for Zentembe. Is he in?
Oh, Zentembe. I see.
I have an update on his family.
His Annette. I see. I will go pass the message. We'll see. Please wait.
Thank you.
Okay. So, after a few minutes, the priest returns and says, please accompany me to the back here. And he brings you into the abbey to have a seat with him and speak. He stands as you enter.
Good to see you again.
Wayne, yes?
The same.
Annette is not with you. I take it to be bad news.
Incorrect. I'm here just checking up. We have come across some teleportation magic and are able to quickly resupply. She is on her way down the river to Camp Vengeance safely. We're just here with a small group. Don't worry. She's fine. And learning a lot. It almost seems like she hasn't really been out of the city at all.
And are you seeking the city draped in vines with the obelisk?
Only.
Oh,
We found several other pieces of the puzzle. That's part of why I came here, to fill you in.
Okay.
So the soulmonger is some kind of artifact that is housed in the basement of Omu, or in the catacombs. There's something underneath it, but there's the city is populated by Yuan Ti, led by something called Resnesi. Resnesi? Resnisi?
The
I'm
Ras.
I'm
The,
a, I'm
the
not from around
Ras,
here.
known as Nsi. Nsi. He
The same.
served as a Ras. Yes. This is this story. This, well, I would say it is a fairy tale, but if the visions point of serpents in the depths, and you say that you've learned that the Ras Nasi is with the Yanti.
Yeah, seeking to awaken Dendar, the Night Serpent.
His eyes grow wide. Is that so?
Yeah, didn't want to bury the lead there. And if it is a myth, then the guardian Naga, who dwells deep in the forest, should probably be informed, because she's under the notion that we are going to go kill Rosnasi. She's very emphatic about asking us to do so.
I see. Okay. Well,
We have also
you're not taking a net there, are you?
no, that's not the plan.
Okay.
No, her point of departure is far before that.
Right. The basin.
Obviously, the news about Dendar should be spread through other holy folk.
Well, I know that I did some asking after we spoke last. Your donations led me to go and consult the spirits, and when I consulted the guides, is when I saw the visions of this city itself. So clearly, it's something that you're involved with here. And when I asked around about it after you left, it seems that there have been several expeditions sent to investigate this piece, just in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, so others that are behind us.
Actually, as far as I can tell, ahead of you.
Oh, well,
I
even
mean,
better.
if you want the details, the one that I found the information from was my neighbor's guest, Mrs. Sylvain. Yes, she talked about having sent several adventuring parties into the jungle.
Was that Sylvain? That's Sindar Sylvain? That's our patron?
Indeed.
Okay. It's true. She in fact was the patron for our expedition as well. But in case we are not the last expedition sent out, and I see no reason that we should be, other than we have all of the guides in the city, then be free with this information. Right? Everything we find, in case we fail, I don't want the moon's next champion to have to start from square one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if you could leave a little map of the path you've taken thus far.
Which one do you like? I did this one specifically just in charcoals. I like the way it makes the shadows look off. No,
And thus, if you were to follow on your path, there's others that would pick up what you left.
yes. We intend also to, on the way to Omu, we need to hit. We have been asked to clear out some other grave evils that may also have some connection to what's happening. Nani Pupu, the green hag in Mbala.
Never heard of it.
All right. And the heart of Ubtao.
Now, Mbala was a small kingdom, but now thought to be a black ghost town.
That's what we've heard. And this hag is responsible. And so we are off to offer retribution.
Interesting.
I didn't know if you knew anything specific. But the other thing we are headed toward is the heart of Ubtao.
The heart of Ubtao. Well, I believe this is actually what Annette was going to investigate herself. She wanted to go to the basin because of the rumors there. I think it's foolishness, but you're the only party that's reported anything back. If you tell me that my granddaughter is still safe, then I will assume that the rest of the information you have is as believable. And
Somebody here can cast a zone of truth, I'm sure.
I think it's good to hear some information back, and perhaps there will be some success into reclaiming some of the lost jungle. It used to be a great civilization here before it fell.
That's what I understand. Several. It seems like several different calamities, sort of all at once, or maybe a series of unfortunate events. Right. I know Rasnisi sieged Mesro and failed, and that's what left the undead behind, right?
It was the story of where it came from. If that's real, then
I have it on good authority.
then there must be some sort of powerful artifact with control over the undead. That might be what you find in Oakland.
That makes a lot of sense. But those undead have been here for hundreds of years. Which means probably the object has been as well. And as has this Rasnisi. So what changed in Omu to make resurrection fail? What if it's the soulmonger? It means something is playing with it, activating other portions of it, right? This doesn't happen by accident. There was no celestial alignment or anything, no prophecies, no.
The people still ask for resurrections, and they still do not work.
Well, tell them not to die. In fact, tell me that too. I could probably use the reminder. So That's where we are right
He kind of
now.
leans forward. There are no resurrections.
I know. I don't know. But that's what I know. That's what we've uncovered. That's what we found out.
The heart of Ubtao is a place of prayer. It seems to be something that closely resembles a heart, suspended above the forest. An earth note.
I'll write that down to tell the professor later.
Those that would worship Ubtao, the father of dinosaurs, considered it a sacred shrine. That it was actually the Ubtao's heart of the god fallen here.
All right. So, should I expect to find these worshippers there?
I would say that there are visits to it. It's not so much of a daily church, but a place to travel to
Pilgrimage.
to perform a pilgrimage. Yes. What you would find there, that's what Annette seeks to know.
And no pilgrims have returned.
I, again, had dismissed most of what Annette brought to me as childish rumor. Was trying to convince her to not go throw her life away in the woods. So
Wise counsel.
now, if I have to pull back these things that I had largely discarded, he kind of like strokes at his beard for a minute. Well, what I could tell you of Ubtao was largely known as a patron deity of Choltians here. Known as the father of dinosaurs or the creator of Cholt, founder of Mesro, and also known as the Deceiver.
Okay.
Something about was formed from a primordial. I don't have all the pieces there, but largely is disinterested in the world itself. Those that are steadfast followers of Ubtao know that he is distant and uninterested.
I know the type.
The avatar, when taken form, what was that year? Oh, scratches his head for a minute. The year of shadows. All that stuff, right? All the avatars walking around. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, who could forget that?
Yeah. This is some like deep lore, religion.
Right,
history.
right. Shit that happens in the Baldur's Gate video game. That's.
During that time, Ubtao walked as its backseat.
Can't fault his taste. What happened to him during in the Year of Shadows?
There's there's all these tales that contradict each other, and I think some of them are made up, and some of them are probably real. And
So he's definitely dead then.
no,
All right.
not dead. Ubtao is not on the dead ones like Dandar is.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was it that angered Ubtao? Right? Ubtao, we were told, was responsible for breaking Chult or spiting Omu or maybe Mesro, one of the... Some of that. What was that all about? Was that part of the Rothnisi
The
thing?
founder of Mesro, yes. Right?
Uh-huh.
The beginning of civilization of Chultians rising up out of the jungle to make their own city. Palaces. I mean, the things that he is known for is being endlessly patient and lacking emotion. Part of
What
his
would-
tenets are instilling in people to practice detachment and wisdom.
So what would drive that god to smite a continent? I mean, you have to have asked, are we there yet, for the very last time to get that god to snap at you.
I think if I were to spend some time trying to consult the guides, perhaps Severus could bring me more insight into these matters.
Thank you.
Would you be willing to visit me tomorrow?
I will have teleported away in the morning. If you think you'll have answers by then, I could call before we leave.
That's good.
All right.
First thing in the
Last
morning.
thing. Who's trapped in Mesro?
Ezra. That's the name. Right? The ancient city.
Mm-hmm. Who's trapped there? I assume it's ruins now.
If I were to try, these are things I could try to look into. So,
I have it on good authority that someone is bound to that city so long as Rothnisi lives.
I see. Okay.
But I don't know who or why. But I do know that a good man seems concerned about it, so. Are you madly making history checks now? Is that the... What the hell does he know?
As I said, that I could consult the guides to try to find some further pieces of this, but for what I know of Mesro, I could tell you. It was destroyed by the spell plague.
Which I know all about.
The spell plague was part of what broke Chult.
Oh, okay, right.
Right.
We did hear about that.
Yeah, we did hear some of this. I mean, some of it is like, you're like, well, I think I may have heard some of these words, but I certainly don't understand these contexts.
Yeah,
Being
Wayne is
that
not a
you're
student of
out
anything.
of your culture, I mean, you could probably go and talk to, like, just, as a cultural value about, like, say, for example, who Snow White or Pinocchio is.
Right.
Right.
So destroyed during the spell plague and never resettled?
No, it lays in ruins.
And the spell plague was well after the smiting of Omu and the fall of Mesro?
The spell plague was after.
Well, not the fall of Mesro, the siege of Mesro. Yeah.
Yeah. The spell plague, right. The spell plague was after the siege, correct.
Okay. Just getting a sense of what has happened. Thank you, Satembe. You're very helpful as always. I mean, hope the diamonds become more useful to you soon, if I have anything to say about it. Pray for us.
Well, I will look into and ask the guys for consultation. And I will pray for both you and my granddaughter and your travels. And hopefully you will succeed where others have failed in lifting this death curse. And with that,
Oh, we'll see about it.
I will go and perform the rituals. I will have the information in the morning.
I appreciate it, Satembe. Thank you. And then I'll head out.
All right. Okay. So, you step back and you get to your
In?
arrangements for the evening, the inn, yes. And there you find that Iku and Azaka are enjoying some of the homemade meals offered there, and seem to be have a stack of supplies, next to them against the wall.
So, Roken, just for fun, is set up playing and it's an item I forgot that I had until I was looking just now. Instrument of illusions. So there's this psychedelic light show going around as I play the music.
Oh, nice.
Very ethereal, and while also using my staff of adornment to just float my drink above my staff.
Gotcha.
And that I'm the entertainment. I'm not great. My performance is pretty low.
The lunatic will have given you guidance.
Thanks. Does that give me advantage?
Plus a D4.
Plus. All right, so you are treated to a 13 level performance. So not bad. A little about karaoke singer level. But me playing a pipe-like instrument, that's also creating a light show around.
Here, the Hall of Honor is exceedingly difficult.
It's like that, for anyone who saw the Trolls movie, like when he starts playing the flute and everything, it just feels all weird. It's like that.
Like the
Nice.
Trolls movie.
I I also like the Trolls movie.
Well, there you go.
I wish Universal had done that as a ride instead of Secret Life of Pets. Would have been way more interesting.
So I will convey everything the folks or that I learned from Zatembe.
Okay. Information. It's there, you know.
I've been thinking about the hag thing, and honestly, it's not. I mean, as long as we as long as we can see her, lock her down, and then just attack.
So should we get like a ring? Lock her down? You know.
I got some ideas about that.
Someday I'm gonna marry that hag.
So I
I
posted
mean,
a shopping list of a few ideas in the chat room of spells that I found that I thought might be useful. I'm not set on this list, but just some ideas. One of them, the cheapest one, is second level Detect Thoughts. So it's a stealth-only spell. So anyone that could read the scroll, if we had enough scrolls, would then be able to spot the hag no matter where she is, unless she casts non-detection or some other high-level thing. So, I mean, that would be one way around the True Sight. The only True Sight, the True Sight spell is a 6th level, which costs 1280 for a scroll, and has a little harder DC. 16, not terrible. Not terrible for me, but maybe harder for somebody that's a low-level caster. The better option, I think, in terms of the True Seeing, is the Detect Thoughts. The other thing is you can get magic items, but they're very expensive, like 30, 40 grand.
I'm pretty much counting on Wayne to visually spot her.
or some other way. Keep in mind, invisibility is not foolproof.
Yeah.
I like the idea of. I was thinking about the idea of the spray paint thing. So I thought if maybe the rogue and the pixie, who's invisible, both had non-detection cast on them, which lasts 8 hours, then they could maybe sneak up on her and like spray paint her or fairy fire or coat her with dust or whatever, and that would help the rest of us. And then there's what to do afterwards. So the only ideas I came up with for that is there's a spell called Magic Circle, which sounds pretty foolproof. You're not supposed to be able to teleport out of it. You're not supposed to be able to attack anyone. So if we can just get her in there. The other thing that sounds a little bit easier is a 4th level called Atiluk's Resilient Sphere, which is more designed as a trap. And is really hard to escape if we can get her.
That also stops us from attacking Anne.
So my thought about that was if we can just clobber her, that's great. But if it turns out that she's too powerful, if we can trap her in a resilient sphere and then put a magic circle of force around her, which lasts longer, and then get rid of the resilient sphere, the circle of force allows us to tack in and not her to attack out.
Well, I was
How
about
long
to
does that
ask if
take to
anybody
cast?
has. I was about to ask if anybody has hold person.
I can do hold
out that those with Arcana would know, like, spray paint isn't going to reveal your invis person.
It isn't?
No.
Because it's anything that they're carrying or anything worn.
Yep, that's just something they're
Magic
wearing
don't
now.
give a fuck.
So a fairy fire.
Right? If
Yeah.
you put a hat on them, the hat would disappear too.
What about hold person? Do they count as a person?
If there was dust or paint on the floor, I think you'd still see their footsteps.
Well, there's hold monster.
There's hold monster. There's hold person. Anything to lock her down, and then we just annihilate her.
Right. Water
Not-
would give away
Lo-
the shape, right?
Magic, I mean,
A water elemental. grapple her and keep her
It
spinning.
is a concentration spell, invisibility. So if she's like sneezing, right, the dust of dryness, the dust of sneezing,
Yeah.
yeah, then it's clear she can't be invisible.
Could also just turn on the spray hose of the decanter of endless water and just like see where she is.
So we're kind of starting in the middle of this. We're what we need to figure out, says the hunter, is our approach. Are we drawing her into a trap?
I was
Are we
wondering that as
stalking
well.
her and running her down with in ambush style? With magic, circle might be effective, but it takes a while to cast, so that could be something we could use as a trap and activate when she enters. But I mean, if we can get her to hold still that long, we've probably already won.
She took over a what is now a ghost town, right? So there's an entire town she could be hiding in.
Yeah, but we have some aerial reconnaissance that's also stealthy, so we can take a look at where she goes and what she does, stalk the prey, find the watering hole where we want to set the trap.
I'd rather plan to ambush her than.
Yeah, I'd rather not just go out and call for a fair fight at the gates. That's
Another one that might work is watery sphere. It can work to confine somebody, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once we actually engage, we're definitely going to be throwing whatever we have at her. I mean, it may take multiple things. If something misses, we definitely can't hang anything on one strategy. But I also don't want to overthink it. I mean, really, once we engage, things become fluid.
No plan survives.
Right? We do whatever is best in the next 10 seconds.
Any kind of debuff we can get to stick to her is going to help, right?
Sure. It's true of everything.
Fairy of Fire is always underappreciated.
Yeah, Fairy Fire is going to be the one that you light them up, and now everyone can attack them as if they're not in business. And as you're sitting there and having some of this discussion, there's another delivery of like a box and a bag and some wrappings that are set down next to Iku and Azaka. More supplies added.
I can't hear anything. Is my sound not working?
Yes.
That's you.
Yeah.
Just you.
Let us explain in detail why you can't hear us.
So more supplies coming, no problem.
And as these supplies come back, and the idea goes on, Iku shares some of her own Chultian knowledge, and whatnot. So I think some of this stuff goes back to the like the first cataclysm, essentially. Right, that's when Schult went through all this. When the weave started collapsing and the blue fire spell plague and everything, that was also when all the avatars were forced down, and that was because Mistra was assassinated. The god was assassinated by the god. And problems, and transformed the planet.
History's so boring.
I'd like to roll initiative.
Oh. Looks like Will's here we go.
Ta-da! Hopefully, maybe. So, a study into the Chultian lore, the deep history, and why is this relevant? Right? Well, Mesro fell during the spell plague, right? It had repelled the attacks of the Ross in the sea. The sea had been unsuccessful and had been repelled, and then went to go hide somewhere in the jungle, which we later determined was Omu, where he's like working on some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So while he was doing that, was then later the Cataclysm, which goes back to our own ancient history back in here. So essentially, Mesro fell to the Cataclysm when the weave broke.
Got it.
Because, I mean, Mystra is the one that controls the weave, and if he died, the weave was out of control, so.
Hmm. Hey, Arctis.
Mm-hmm.
She can't leave Mesro until Russ Nisi's dead.
And that's why I was seeking out Vorn.
Oh, Vorn's on the way.
Well, I think Vorn's probably done a couple about faces by now, but yeah.
Oh, Vorn's the. Oh, you mean Vorn's shield guardian, right? Because Vorn was the wizard that wrote the. I don't remember. Vorn might have been the shield. Right. Actually, it's Vorn's monster. So, and you think why is Vorn important for? Why is the shield guardian important for that?
Well, first off, I did tell you, while we were in the jungles, I did tell you a little bit about a thing that I said that I don't talk about very much.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that same situation, we're not going to talk about it here. Too many years. But I think Vorn will help me with that. Or yes, you know what I mean.
And actually, it's
Yeah, that one. Just like that. Indeed. It is a shield guardian of someone who had been lost to the woods, but see, Queen Grabstab had been mentioned. It had been noted she was wearing it. Of course, she couldn't have known what it was. Otherwise, she would have had a shield guardian there in Iliark. So she thought it was just a pretty. But I have actually been. It's on my list.
Oh, what's on your list?
Vorn's monster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I
Well,
volunteered to go to the Goblin Village. Right.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was seeking the amulet the Queen had.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Okay. I didn't forget. No, that's cool. So, anybody want to catch a show? Or, I mean, we haven't been in town for a while. You feel like going out, doing anything interesting? Just hit a bed? I don't know.
I am a show. I am the show. So that's what I'm doing.
Right. So I assume that you take advantages of the port and look to the amenities offered: finer foods, greater drinks, entertainment, a good bed, company, whatever.
I'm gonna see what Azaka wants to. She knows the town.
So, through the rest of the evening, you're able to acquire the mundane goods as needed, right? I think I had previously listed out prices for this stuff, but
Mhm.
is it in the handouts? I thought it was in the handouts. Just a moment. Yes. Here we go. Right.
Yes.
Buying
Oh.
special items. I think.
That's blank for me.
Yard.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
I think you might have put it in the DM notes instead of the notes. I do that all the time.
Yeah, that happens a bunch, right? Right. Insect repellent is 1 gold for 20. There you go. 20 doses. The 1 gourd is 20 applications. There you go. So those are some of the things you'll need to catch up on, on while you're here. But other than that, I think. Yeah, apparently that is more great. Okay.
All right, so the scrolls that I would like to have available that I think would help the team in this context total about 1,600. Is that more than the share I should spend? I need to look. Is it fair to assume that some of that is coming out of the 9,000, or should I look at my personal?
That's about
The
how much.
9,000 is personal.
That's about how much you got in your bag of holding of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that is personal. That's not team gold.
That was each.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Also, make sure no one has that spell before you buy the scroll.
Well, so hold on. My thought about that is that even though it requires concentration, I only have 1 4th level spell slot. So if I need to cast 3 4th level spells, or let's say the first time she saves successfully and I want to cast it again, that's my thought for having the scrolls. Does that make sense? Extra casting ability.
Yeah. So that would only be one more chance, right?
Well, I mean, 1 scroll is 1 chance.
Yeah. That's an expensive chance.
Do you have a Pearl of Power? Oh, you're tight for attunement though.
Yeah, Pearl of Power or Ring of Spell Storing, or there's an Ioun Stone. All of those would be awesome if they didn't require the attunement. That's one reason I was so excited about the Field Guardian.
I'm just poking through some small gear, but other than that, I'm through.
Okay. So, we did mention that the magic items, would take some time, but you could return in a week to finish that.
Right. Oh, Iku. You want to work with me and draw out a map of Umbala? You've been there many times. And do you maybe know where we would go to, like where Nanny Poo Poo frequents, where we would go to hunt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll see what I can put together for you. Let's work together on this. Sounds good.
Whoa! Pull out a sheet of map paper.
So I assume that the rest of the evening goes by with entertainment and supplies. Anything special? Can we move to the next morning? Oh, did I? Oh, I did. It did the thing.
There's the case back.
It did the thing.
Indeed. Your stream's still up? Or do we need to wait?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I mean, it was still. It doesn't bring it down, but I mean,
Yeah, I didn't
there's
know
a
if
moment where there's no
pull
input.
internet.
But yeah. Oh, thank you. So we have the evening passes, and then we get to the next day. Now, do we have some a consulting with the guides response?
Yeah, if anybody wants to come with me to find out, to check in with Satembe.
I'll go.
Okay, so the morning after, there is returning to the Temple of Severus, passing through the entrance onto the Great Monster side. Do you see that?
It looks like there's news.
Okay. So, when Severus, Satembe approaches, and I don't know. He doesn't have any. You hear him speak. Approach. You see him approach, and you speak. I've consulted the guys, and they have brought me some. That is our. I am glad to be able to provide the service. The visions that I have for you. What I can say is that we know that the Yanti are not just boogeymen. There is a symbol. I've also looked into this and seen that there is a
they will.
And with all of these, I can say that they are up to a lot of interpretation. But I do believe he will
I'm just gonna like just do a quick pan and scan of the group. I'm like, not married, not married, not married, not married, not married. Grad student?
No.
It's like,
Exactly
are
who you
this?
think
Yeah.
you do. And you also know that Zatembe has not said that in aloud. Now, why don't you give me an insight memory? You remember check? Not something to be spoken at the moment. It's something to recall.
Yep.
We're not looking for highly detailed information. I think an 8 would be enough to give you a gist. When you first met Zatembe, he was being spoken to by assassins
Right.
who were asking for scribe services.
Yes.
Artists, silver.
Ah, I hadn't caught that bit. Interesting.
It was mentioned at the moment, but that name didn't mean anything at the time.
No.
So there are assassins looking for artists.
Yep.
And that's also part of what Tembe is not saying aloud.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do an insight check. Just that's the lunatic. Lunatic has much better insight than me. Okay. I probably I get the gist. I'm like, oh, okay.
He ran them out because he didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
use Severus, the gifts of Severus to help assassins. But also now he knows that person they were asking for is now traveling with you. So that's why he
Right. And also his granddaughter. Huh. When I catch on to this, I'm just going to pull out a quick sheet of paper and just like, any news on those assassins?
not in town.
Excellent. Hey, do you know? Oh, wait. We tracked. You guys found their hideout. You found Roken. You tracked them down and found a station for them. You and the fox. Right, Roken? That happened. You and the fox went and tracked down.
You followed the assassins out. Yes.
Yeah, you tracked them down to their hideout. Yep. Well, thanks, Zatembe. We'll wander out. Oh, you were muted for that whole thing. I'm sorry. I heard you because you're in the room. I just realized.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was unmuted. Yep. I did do that.
Now they
Okay. So are we still in the planning phase, or is that what we're doing?
I was just thinking if we go flash Arctus's face there right before we teleport, maybe it pulls him back toward the city and we get some more distance on him so we don't have to deal with him in the jungle.
Ah.
Right, throw him off the scent. As we're walking out, it's like, oh, Arctus, you're being hunted by assassins. I'm sure you know that by now. It's the whatchamacallem with the Z. Not the Zarman. Them. The Zentrum. Those ones. No, it turns out before we met you, we heard about some that were tracking you down. We know where they were staying. Want to go distract them?
Well, the Centurion. Their assassins were hired. Mercenaries, killers were hired.
Mhm.
So while we know that those people will pay death, knowing that they're mercenaries doesn't say who it is that's after them. I don't think
No.
I learned much.
Oh, that's
Also,
that.
I would hope to not know that here in the port right now.
Well, you wouldn't be for more than 5 minutes afterward, though. That's the idea. Is we show your face where it will be reported, and then we teleport 100 miles, several days down the river, and hopefully they send word to their assassins to come back in to get you in town because they think you're here. It's approved.
Yeah, I hear it.
Just an idea before we leave.
Crazy at night does work.
Or they jump us at the inn. I don't know.
One of those like double back, but there.
Exactly. We're just marking your scent somewhere you never were.
Okay.
If you keep a ball in a leather bag soaked in your own piss and then you roll and you'll mark the scent. Yeah, well, being a ranger is not pretty. If there's no better or worse ideas, I think that's what we do before we head out. Have breakfast at that inn, and then teleport to our destination.
And I promise you, as soon as we're out of town.
Yeah, definitely. Right. But meanwhile, my good buddy Arctus Simber.
Arches.
Why are you hiding from someone?
All right. Well, I suppose we should probably go grab the supplies and then
Yeah. I mean, I figured we had taken everything from the inn on the way to Zatembe's. We're just going to stop in, make a scene, and then teleport 3 times.
All right. Okay, so you head your way over to where the inn was. The inn is still there.
That would have been a twist.
It's a Starbucks. How long were we gone?
another Starbucks right there.
They're facing each other. What is this?
Naga said out of time. That can't be. Alright, so you head over into this upper merchant ward area, which is where this had been let out to. It was like up in here is the temple. You had followed them.
As far as I could.
Over this way, not far. This is over to the side there, 5.
Just so you know, I got a heat warning on my laptop, so if I log off, it's because my computer is shut off.
Gotcha.
Because LA killed it.
That's how it is, right?
Gonna be hotter tomorrow.
Oh, good.
And you are taken over towards, you arrive at the inn. It is still there in place. Stay outside, go inside.
Oh, we're going for breakfast.
Gotcha. Okay. Breakfast.
Grand Slam.
Your breakfast is triceratops, eggs.
I'll just have a plate of knives. Thank you. I'm not very hungry, but I want to be prepared.
Always eat holding my gun.
Full of things, right?
Oh.
Of course, it seems to have like a Tej based like sauce, and there's some fruit with it. You know, dino eggs, fermented fruit.
I'm just going to talk loudly about how nice it is to be back from the jungle and how we're definitely not going back soon. You know, stay here for
That place
a
was
real long
awful.
time.
God.
I'm talking to Arctis about, starting up a shop here.
And you get about 5 minutes into breakfast, and then the clerk, attendant, barkeep, who had been serving food, brings over a folded paper, places it on the table, unfolds it. There seems to be a fairly, like, decent but quick drawing of artist. Like someone did a quick drawing. Not
Ooh,
a fine work
caricatures.
of art, but it is definitely a good piece of quality.
Sketch artist. Can you do my other friends?
This was left here. It was shown to me. They left 3 days ago.
Well,
But they seem to be my artists.
well, thanks for the tip. Did they give you any way to get a hold of them?
They showed pictures and asked around, but they said they were following.
Well, if you know anybody who likes to talk to them, tell them that we'll be here for at least a few weeks, and I can't wait to piss in their eye.
If I see him again, where are you staying? Where should I send him?
Have them ask for me at the Temple of Severus. Zatembe will know where I am. Wayne.
Okay, the hunter, Wayne. Got it.
Good. Thanks. I give him a tip. That's
Yeah, it's kind of easy. I haven't heard that one before. Usually it's like, just my tag.
it's personal. Got to hold it open for them.
Alright, well, I'll have none of that. Thank you.
And then if have you got a courier, a runner at the inn? Oh, I just need a boy to run a letter and a rock to Zatembe.
Yes. He leans
Great.
back. It's like, hey, yeah, put that down. Yeah, over here. Over here. No, right now.
All right. Just write a quick note to Zatembe of like,
a young teen, mud, color of mud and cinnamon. It's like, Lucy, take care of this client here.
I just took the picture of Arctus. Scrawled a quick note of let us know when his friends ask for him, and I will wrap it around one of the sets of one of the stones in the sending stone sets that I've picked up.
Which will take about 5 days.
Oh, even those. Okay. Okay. In that case, I'll just leave instructions for one of them to be. We'll take care of that anyway. But yeah, just to let Zatembe know.
Okay. You give it a note. It has stuff on it. He'll read it.
Indeed.
The boy says, "Of course, yes." And he takes the note and he folds it up and is like, "You want me to take it to the temple?" Yes.
Yeah. And I'll put a gold coin in this pocket, and when I do, I give him a sniff, just like, I'll know if you don't, and I have your sentence.
Quickly runs out.
I think we're ready. Yeah, everybody. With no sense of subtlety, then Lunatic just activates the helm.
Okay, so it's 3 trips and now.
So this time we have, I'd say, take a total of 9. We're taking Arctus and Asaka, but Iku can make their own way, right?
Oh, she was gonna say you don't have to take me from Orlando. You're like, but no, I do want you to come back to the city.
Okay. Right, we were going to have to do two trips either way.
Yeah.
If we leave one person behind, we can get to Camp Vengeance in one hop. Iku, would you mind? How do you feel about staying here for a few days until and monitoring the rest of the pickups for magic items and things?
Well, I saw that you set the accounts in order, so I suppose they can.
Unless you would very much like to be there when we assault Umbala. Okay. All right then.
But the fact that you are willing to remove to face Naya, to punish her for what she's done to people involved, that is personally.
Happy to help. And then we teleport away. So first one to the ziggurat, right? We can see the mountain of Imbala from the ziggurat?
And then there was the offered earring to go to Imbala.
Oh, right. Yeah, so we'll bounce straight to Imbala and then look for,
You have a view.
yeah.
Okay. So all right. The helm of teleportation activates, and that puts all of you in transit and navigation. But I will remove that tile there.
Ta-da.
I didn't need to. No, that's the one. Apparently, I can also delete towns. Okay, it's not too bad. We find ourselves here on the Oak Mountain. So, an 1,800-foot high plateau with sheer cliffs rise above the heaps of boulders as large as ships. You see that there is a narrow walk path cut into the cliff face. That seems to meander to the bottom. Now you are at the top. And as you are here, you can see out across the basin and see all sorts of things out here. So first off, everyone gets a free perception check.
Dun, dun, dun.
I got 18.
Sorry, I'm rolling on line and everything's slow because heat. 18.
Okay. So looking out across the basin, it is clear now that there is a whole bunch that you can see. Which is a really awesome time to like open up the map. So you have a great vantage point here. You see
Mm-hmm.
We do also have an image of we see in the far distance. We see the heart of Tau.
Hmm.
That's down here into the far end of the basin. It's literally like an earth mode floating above, suspended above the ground, around it.
Hmm.
So you see this floating earth mode, you see the basin, you see ziggurat. Now those that hit over 20, you also see this. I just kind of unlocked a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see looks to be some kind of shipwreck. Like a boat that would crash into the shore. Except for like in the middle of the ocean. It stands out as being
We're the lords of the sea, but not the actuals.
so.
This is where we run into our character.
Those things in the distance, and you have all this open area, right? You can see the peaks of flame clearly up here, right? You see that there's active volcanoes here, 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 here. You do see that there are ships at sea out here to the west. Looks like they're making their way to or from port. So with all of that great viewpoint out around you, you also see here about where you are this lip of the plateau with this path. And along this path, cut into the stone, are scenes of jungle predators, flying lizards, erupting volcanoes. It's in, there's some art there. And you are at this landing just a few steps from the top. You see behind you along the edge of this plateau is where this is carved. And at the very top, these stone steps emerge onto this, what you would say was once grand, but now decrepit gateway. It is the gates that have sealed this entrance that are rotted away, and you see just like the rusted, clearly rusted iron reinforcement bands at the edges are mostly what remains as the wood is pocked and disintegrating away. Along the edge of this gate and in stands out as you see the Camp Righteous with the alligator on top of the person statue way in the distance
Mhm.
up here. And then you see another encampment down here. And that's the spot you're heading where you're supposed to be.
Well, the prophecy said that we were going to talk to an old woman while we were surrounded by skulls. I'm going to look up. Do I see flying monkeys?
You do not.
Okay. Doesn't seem like it's at this very moment.
So, to proceed, you could get your line of sight and try to teleport below. Either climb over the skull, go through the heaps of skulls, or try to go around the gate. It looks like there's kind of some obstacle that would require some sort of maneuvering past there. Trudge through the pile of skulls, climb over the decrepit fence, gate, teleport. Choice is yours. I think an excellent time to find out that choice would be same time next week. Where we determine where this are. Now,
Nice.